I work in door-to-door sales, and by this point, I've talked to almost 10,000 people. And because I live in Canada, I pretty much always get the same replies. Because everybody's nice. Everybody's nice, too nice, good or bad, that's the way it is. And one time I've knocked on this guy's door. He ended up being from somewhere else. I could tell right off the bat. He was from Quebec. And the replies he was giving me, I knock on his door, and he was so honest. I would say even too honest and straightforward. But that just made me respect him so much because he was not being nice. He was not trying to be likable and make me feel, this like comfort. He was just telling me the raw truth. I would say something wrong because he ended up being interested. I was selling painting and he was like, oh yeah, I need some painting, yeah. So it was like a long ass conversation, like 15-20 minutes. And when I would ask him something obvious with an obvious answer, I was like, how do you spell your name? It was like some simple name. He was like, are you freaking kidding me? You don't know how to spell my name? Did you go to high school here? Like, are you freaking dumb or something? And I was like, man, I like this guy. And then I was explaining him something like very boring, and he had to go somewhere. And he was like, okay, I'm tired of you. Get out of here. I'll call you later on. And that's something to respect. I'm all for it. It's so much better than being officially nice. But hold on, you still have to be polite, respectful, have some manners. But having this niceness, I wouldn't say it's necessary. It's not that difficult of a concept, but everybody knows that you have to take risks to be successful, to be respected. Like, no risk, no reward. Makes sense. And the same kind of pattern applies to the conversations as well. When you always give the same replies, the same official replies, like, that's interesting, that's awesome. When you ask the same questions, like about weather, about the weekends, you know what I mean. Nobody really respects you, nobody really likes you. You just stay like in this bubble. And I'm gonna prove it to you. Remember the last time you were laughing your ass off when the joke was actually really, really funny? It's always the kind of joke that is on the borderline of being absurd. It's like very dark humor, and you're like laughing, you're like, bro, stop, you can't go that way, stop. And it's funny, it's really funny. How are you supposed to make person laugh, I don't know, from like this candy, or like talking about the dogs? No, you have to take risk to be funny. You have to take risks to be respected. People who are honest, people who act very bold, who don't care too much about social norms, which you have to care about. But if we go very extreme about being too honest, too straightforward, those people are also respected. If there's some group meeting and somebody raises their hand and asks the most stupid question in the world, people are gonna laugh, sure. They're gonna be like, oh, this stupid guy. But deep inside, deep in their soul, they do respect this guy. Because they're themselves scared to ask this question. And he did. Being nice, not being polite, but being nice implies that you will miss out on some opportunities. You won't ask certain questions because you don't want to seem rude. Some people will push your boundaries because you're simply too nice to say no. You can't do that. You won't have this ring to yourself, to your personality, because you'll have this border of niceness. And most importantly, instead of doing what needs to be done, the things that you have to do at this moment, you wait for approval. You wait for approval from everybody else by being nice. And I know it may sound very abstract, so I'll apply some examples to it. Let's say people on social media. You know what makes them exceptional? What makes them unique? What makes them popular? Because of their personality, obviously. Because they're not being nice. They're being themselves. They say whatever's in their mind, of course filtering, of course being polite, but you know what I mean? There's other millions, tens of millions, billions people who act nice, but by being yourself, by being who you are, by being truthful to who you are, is how you being exceptional, and that's how you go out on social media. And I know for a fact that I won't accomplish my goal if I be nice. I won't become an Olympic champion if I act nice. So I want you to reflect on this, think about this, and let me know in the comments if I'm right or wrong, what you agree with, what you disagree with. And that was Alexi Lopen. I'll see you next video.